Hey guys, let's talk about tonight's episode of The Flash. And we had a lot of Gorilla Grodd in this episode. And we had a plan to try to get him back to Earth 2. And the new Dr. Wells was spearheading this mission to try to get him away from Earth and to Earth 2. And it was all good. It was a fun episode. The special effects with the gorilla were great. We had the return of Barry's dad, thanks to Iris, because once again, Barry is wallowing in the fact that, well, I shouldn't say he's wallowing, but at the end of last week's episode, he was paralyzed. He couldn't feel his legs. And in this episode, we sort of pick up with him doing some physiotherapy and he's trying to regain his speed and everything. And, I don't want to say he's having a pity party, but he's having a pity party. And, once again, everybody is telling him he's great, he's good, and he's doubting himself. And as a result, Caitlin gets taken away by the gorilla, and they have to devise a plan to sort of trick Gorilla Grodd into believing that Dr. Wells is the actual original Dr. Wells. He tries to mimic him, which he does not very well, and Grodd can see through it. And then they had to use Caitlin to sort of play on Grodd's emotions and then backstab him. So he was sent through the portal, and he's now back at Earth 2. We find out that the girl that Cisco is dating is obviously going to be a new member of the Legends of Tomorrow group, and she can fly and has wings, and they kiss at the end of the episode, and Cisco can see who she really is. So that was kind of cool. We also, like I said, got the return of Barry's dad, and they had a couple of really nice scenes together. And then the end scene, though, when he was at the house, when Barry and his dad and Joe and Iris were all at the house and they're looking at photos, and Barry, Joe says something to Barry like, "Oh, like father, like son," and it was just that moment where you see Joe have a moment where, yeah, he kind of probably wishes he did have his own son, because as much as he says he loves Barry, which we all know he does, he's not his real son. And he's reminded of that from time to time, especially when Barry's real dad comes back. So it was a nice scene, but again, this is obviously going to lead to the reveal that Iris knows that there is another son, or she has a brother out there somewhere, and she hasn't told her dad this yet. So I'm not sure when she's going to drop that bomb, but I'm sure it's going to come soon. And then, of course, we had a couple of scenes with Patty and Barry, which were fine. But, of course, he was lying to her at the beginning. And like I said, when they first, started putting them together as a couple, how long were they going to play out the fact that he is the Flash, but she doesn't know it, and how is that going to affect their relationship? And it obviously did in this episode, because he was lying, saying he was sick, when really he was laid up because he was paralyzed and he was trying to recover. And then with his dad returning, he kind of pushed it off on his father returning, but really we ultimately know what that was all about. So it was a pretty busy episode. It was pretty good. I'm liking, like I said, I'm liking that Iris is part of the team and she knows everything that's going on. I just wish she was a little bit more involved from time to time. But other than that, it was a pretty solid episode. Dr. Wells and Cisco working together was kind of nice to see, considering how nervous Cisco has been of him. So, yeah, it was pretty cool. And then Barry's dad got to meet the new Dr. Wells. So, all these characters are sort of coming face to face with all these, like, everybody knows the truth, which is great, except for Patty right now. So I'm liking that. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I thought it was a pretty solid episode. It wasn't amazing, but the special effects were really good. And, for a small CW show, pretty solid special effects there with the gorilla. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next week.